What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Havoc Sports Podcast. Banger of an episode today. I am your co-host, Colton, with my fellow co-host, Chicago Bears fan, Harry Johnson.
And don't forget Celtics fan. We're
Yeah,
not forgetting about
we're
not forgetting about basketball here.
We didn't care about the Bears either.
But welcome back, guys. It is a fantasy episode today. We're going to be talking about our starting lineups, a little bit about the bench. Not going to touch too much on the bench because you kind of just are drafting necessities. Whatever falls to you, you get.
Quick
Yeah,
disclaimer.
but we'll compare each position. So we'll go first by quarterback, and then we'll talk about both quarterbacks, and then we'll go to running back down the line, as always. So to get started, first and foremost, it was the preseason debut for both quarterbacks, Caleb Williams and Drake May. Patriots looked like they struggled a little bit.
He threw like 3 snaps. Second game they played was really good, and BTW people out there, I promise I do have energy, just recovering from sickness, so the energy is here, just a little funky in the voice. But yeah, if you're a Patriots fan watching that first preseason game, you hated it. There was no Drake May. It was an illusion. Second game was a lot better. I think he played the second quarter.
It's kind of wondering who's gonna. I mean, because Mayo said that Drake May does have the chance to start
that second
at quarterback.
game is what. Well, when you actually play him, you find things out about your players.
Yeah,
but you gotta play him.
I think they should start him. Personally, I think they should start him. I think Jacoby's not. He
sucks.
doesn't give you a chance to win.
I don't know what Jacoby's doing.
Yeah, I don't.
He looks horrible.
I think Drake May gives you upside, as in you look forward to seeing how he progresses. Where with Jacoby Brissett, just like another
You're
game.
Not excited about. At least give Patriots fans something to get excited about.
Yeah.
My only worry is once we start losing games, they're gonna be like, put Joe Milton in. We want Joe. We want Joe. He is not that good, I promise. You saw it in the second preseason game. Dude sucked.
He
does suck. He's always had that issue.
Caleb Williams looked decent. He only got 2 drives. Wasn't anything too special. Went through his reads really well.
Yeah.
Not rather than that. I mean, offensive line.
Run.
Yeah.
To Cole Kmet, I believe.
Yeah.
That's pretty
offensive line looks like it's gonna struggle.
Same here.
Yeah, and I mean, as a rookie quarterbacks, that's kind of hard to have when they're scared after their first year.
He does good in getting out of the pocket and not forcing the throw if it's not there. Justin Fields, where he went wrong is he would go outside the pocket, but he never looked to pass once he left the pocket. And a lot of the times, I think it got to his head about hearing about that, so then he would force throws that were just not there at all.
Yeah, and I mean, Justin's doing his thug out there in Pittsburgh. I hope he does good, but I think from just the 2 drives that I saw, it's going to look better for the Bears offense.
Yeah.
I mean, regardless. So, but going into our first position on fantasy that we drafted, quarterbacks, I got 2 quarterbacks that are 1-1. I got Caleb Williams, and then I also got Jared Goff, kind of veteran. I'll probably start Jared Goff, but Caleb Williams, I mean, if he does good and runs the ball.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I always think I kind of switch it up this year because I've always drafted really strong teams and been amazing throughout the regular season. And then my steady guys get outbeat by upside players in the playoffs every year, so I switched it up. I did get Lamar. I like the rushing upside. Last year I had Josh Allen. He wasn't on my radar. I just like that touchdown upside. I think Derrick Henry will take a little bit of touchdowns away. And then I went with Kirk Cousins. I felt like that was a really late round, just safe guy. I need him for 1 week. And if, God forbid, something happened to Lamar, I think I still have a safe floor option.
I think that's too really. I mean, they're going to give you 15 and up every game. So, I mean, you definitely solid at the quarterback for both of us here. I mean, Jared Goff. I think I got Jared Goff after Caleb Williams.
Yeah, I got
So
Kirk Cousins in the last round.
yeah, so it was kind of I was like,
Draft was
yeah,
weird.
you never know how Caleb's gonna do, so you might as well pick Jared Goff. He's got a good offense, good
Yeah.
wide receiver. Why not? Going into the first running back, it's my running backs kind of stink.
Yeah, we flip flop
Yeah,
running backs and receivers for sure.
yeah. I got James Cook as my running back one, which he's projected 20 points on my thing. So I think, they're kind of realizing that James Cook's the only guy on the team that returned
Well,
offensively wise.
they're gonna have to get him involved in the passing game with. I mean, it's him, Kincaid, and Keon Coleman. You don't really know yet. He's got to develop as the
Yeah,
season goes on. So
they got that Shakir guy, which they're
yeah,
saying he could be pretty good,
but I
but
don't.
who knows how
I
he's
mean,
gonna
I'm
be.
not looking at him as like a one
Wow.
threat. You
Yeah.
still got to be elusive in the offense. Do something. You don't have that alpha anymore. So a lot of people are gonna have to step up. James Cook being one of those. Um, with my RB1, I had the pick 9, and I can't believe our draft went very weird. We went receiver heavy, and I got Bijan Robinson at the 9th pick, which I couldn't believe. He was sitting there, picked him up, planned on going hero running back, and it didn't turn out that way because of the receivers flying off the board. It was a very big panic situation if you were on the back into that draft, because it got to me and there was nothing. There was like no receivers that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm taking him over Bijan. But I'm very happy with that pick. Arthur Smith's out, thank the Lord. So he should see a massive improvement. I think that this could definitely be the RB1
Yeah,
by the end of the
100%.
season.
And the only thing I say I'd be worried about is their power back getting goal line touches.
Yeah, Algier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they get on the 1 yard line,
Yep.
it's not looking good for Bijan owners at all.
And keep in mind though, our draft is a point per reception. So a lot of these running backs we're looking for elusive. Like you heard James Cook, and you might scratch your head like RB1. It's a PPR league. So players like Bijan, like James Cook, who are going to be getting a lot of catches in the backfield.
And my next running back.
Yeah, you're looking for that upside in.
That
In
kind
that
of leads
area.
into my next running back. I got Ramondre Stevenson,
Yep.
and he's not a very good 150-yard guy, rushing yard type of guy.
No,
You know what I mean?
never. He's very
But
elusive.
yeah, but
Very
he will
shifty.
get 6 receptions a game.
Yep.
He will get maybe
He's
40 yards of reception yards.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just like Colton said, it's kind of like the PPR league kind of runs our running backs into, are they going to catch the ball in the backfield, and are they
Yeah.
going to be able to play make into the passing game?
And I think we both, though different ways that they run the football, we definitely both kind of thought the same thing with RB2, and that's RB2 safe option. Like Ramondre Stevenson's not going to blow you away with a surprise 35-point game or something like that, but he's going to get you a steady 15. He's going to keep you in those games. You can always rely on him in your lineup, which is why I went with Kenneth Walker, and I actually probably went around earlier than most would expect with Kenneth Walker. And that's, again, it just comes down to how your fantasy board goes. We went heavy receiver, and then it flipped, and all of a sudden running backs were flying off the board, and I wanted one more safe option. I did snag Kenneth Walker. Last year, towards the end of the season, wasn't great, but they had one of the toughest schedules. So he's going to be fine. Charbonnet's not going to be a factor unless Kenneth gets hurt. Hopefully not again. But just a safe option. I like Kenneth. I think he's always been really good. He doesn't necessarily have all that receiving value that I would love, but he's going to get all that goal line work. Third, I mean, he's just a power back.
Gotcha. And then I think, like Colton said, more of a safe option to go with running back 2 because when your running back 1 goes out, you still have a running back who's going to give you 15
Yeah.
plus. And
Yep.
so it's always important to have at least a mid-tier running back at running back 2, maybe above mid-tier. And that's why I think with Ramondre, I got him in the 4th or 5th, maybe the
Yeah.
6th round.
And I mean, you want your RB1s to be your heroes, right? But sometimes you're taking risk with those guys as to where our RB2s, are going to be able to help kind of pick up that slack for what's missing. And that's why I think it's always really important to get a safer pick in the RB2 slot.
Yeah. And kind of leading in a running back, you'd talk about safe options. At my running back or at wide receiver 1, I went with my first round pick. Like Colton said, it kind of went heavy.
Oh, yeah, it
I was
did.
in the I think third. I was third.
Yeah.
So I was third this
You're up
year,
there
and
early.
I picked up Tyreek Hill. It was either Tyreek Hill or Jamar Chase, and I decided to go with Tyreek Hill because he only catches deep balls, and if he doesn't, then he's running for 70 yards
Yeah.
down the field. So
Yeah. I mean, it's just kind of a no-brainer pick, looking at what came to you and just kind of waiting to see.
yeah, because I wanted CeeDee Lamb, but
Yeah.
now I'm kind of looking at it like, man, if CeeDee Lamb leaves Dallas,
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad I didn't pick CeeDee Lamb. So
Yeah, because, I mean, if he stays in Dallas, he's getting force-fed. There's nothing else entertaining in Dallas besides their defense, but he's going to eat that up. Obviously, wide receiver 1, Tyreek Hill, a very strong choice. I follow mine up with high upside, hopefully high reward. I took Marvin Harrison right off the rip of round 2. Jahmyr Gibbs was almost there, and I probably would have taken Jahmyr Gibbs too, but like we said, with the wide receivers that went off the board that first round, it took a divot, but I don't think I lost anything in taking Marvin Harrison. I think this guy is a Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson-esque type fantasy player. I just sent you a clip the other day of him in practice, and I mean that dude.
yeah, I
That
think it
dude
was
looks
Kenny
like
Moore. I think he was even against
yeah.
their cornerback 1.
That dude looks like he's been Calvin Johnson out there for
Yeah,
years,
and
and this is his first year.
of course it was against the Colts. I mean, who else would it be against?
He
Colts are
just
poverty, bro.
he just looks good, and I like the upside.
You won't hear a Colts player from in any lineups, right?
I don't think you're gonna see one on mine.
Yeah, because they are trash.
Yeah. So I just took
Anyways,
Marvin Harrison upside. He's only gonna get better as the year goes on. You'll hear a lot of upside in my draft this year, which compared to other ones is completely 180.
yeah, but the reason why I kind of stayed away from Marvin was, Kyler Murray coming off injuries. You don't have the offensive line that he used to have. You have Paris
Yeah.
Johnson, but after that,
The only thing that made me comfortable was I know I heard on a podcast called Fantasy Pros, they were looking into Kyler, and when Kyler's on the field, he is a top 10 fantasy football quarterback.
yeah,
When he came back from injury, from that week on, he was a top 10 fantasy football quarterback. With A.J. Green, with whatever nasty they
D-Hop.
had.
He had
They
D-Hop.
didn't have D-Hop last year.
Oh, last year
Yeah.
he had Rondell Moore.
Yeah. But you're going to have a guy like a prime D-Hop.
Yeah.
I mean, D-Hop was good at Arizona, but he was on the back end there. But, as long as Kyler stays healthy, I think Marvin Harrison could see a lot of force feds, and I think that'll also point towards someone we'll get into a little bit later. But my wide receiver 2, again, we've said it numerous times, wide receivers were just gone. So my wide receiver 2 is Amari Cooper. When he's playing at Cleveland, I'm going to be very excited because the dude plays phenomenal at home. And when he's away, he plays like he shouldn't even be on the field. So a little worried about that, but I think he'll be all right. Not too many crazy targets to go around. And
No, but he's really the only good.
Cleveland. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean
it's
Jerry
just Deshaun
Judy.
Watson. He sucks.
Yeah, Jerry Judy's there.
He sucks.
Njoku kind of
He's
takes a
good,
little bit.
but Njoku didn't really excel until
Joe
Joe
Flacco.
Flacco. Now we've got Massage Boy, and I don't know what happened to him when he took that year off, but he is
Bad.
should not be playing. His contract is the only reason he's on the field.
Yeah.
So hopefully that changes, and Amari Cooper is just this dog that used to be at Oakland. But I don't count on that. But I think he's kind of a safe floor.
Yeah, he's good. Mine's kind of a little sketchy. It's not the greatest wide receiver you could have at 2, but I mean he's on one of the most dynamic offenses. He was a Heisman winner. He has flash.
Oh yeah.
In the yards after the catch, but it's just you have AJ Brown, you have Saquon Barkley now, you have Dallas Goedert, you have a lot of people to pass the ball around, and Devontae Smith, who's my wide receiver, he gets his fair touches, but he kind of lacks in getting the ball.
Yeah, but I would rather have a piece of a absolute offensive juggernaut unit versus the one of an absolutely terrible team. I mean, statistically, that's proven that having those guys on the Chiefs, the Dolphins, those offensive units are a better option than the one on, say, the Giants or the Patriots.
He gets you 10 points a game. And when we get into the bench, I do have some wide receivers in the bench that could, be in that wide receiver 2 spot if they shine.
Yeah.
But leading into that, tight ends, this is where I kind of decided to change. Last year I kind of picked up, I think, David Njoku later in the rounds or later in the season in the waivers, just because the fact, like Colton said, he wasn't doing anything with Watson.
Yep.
And so I had
Stole
Dallas
my waiver
Goedert.
pick.
Huh?
So you stole my waiver wire pick this year.
Yeah, I had Dallas Goedert last year. He's terrible. But this year I decided to go with Sam Laporta.
Yep.
One of the best tight ends probably this year.
And
Most
really
upside.
good offense.
Very good offense. And can't really go wrong. It's kind of a safety pick. It was either I had the chance to take Travis Kelce, but
Yeah.
I just, with his age.
He's getting limited on snaps now.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll still be fine, but yeah, I had Sam Laporta off a waiver wire last year. And I mean, Campbell loves the guy. When your coach loves you, they're going to find ways to get you involved. The dude just knows how to get open. And Amon-Ra does take a big volume of it. He takes all the slants, all the short options, but Sam Laporta still always finds ways to get you high-scoring games and get himself involved. He'll be fine. A lot of people are like, him number 1 over Kelce? Yeah, there's finally an argument for that guy.
With Kelsey's age, it's getting to be an argument. If it was, Kelce back when he was 29 or 26.
Wouldn't be close.
Yeah. But anyways, who's your tight end over there?
I went with another Cardinal, and I took Trey McBride. And Trey McBride last year ended the season very nice. He just seems like he's going to be that 10 or more type of guy. He also has those big games, especially against really good teams. So Kyler's got 2 options. He can hit either one. It don't matter to me. I'll be happy either way. But they are definitely offensive changers, and I think Trey McBride's going to be fine. Marvin Harrison comes in. That steals volume, but not from McBride. That just takes it from the guys that left, and I think they'll both do really well. The run game's nothing to go crazy about. Like, James Conner's decent.
They picked up another guy, too.
Yeah, Trey Benson, I think, is the
that's
rookie.
who it was.
So, I mean, their run game's not going to blow you away, right? So they're going to be throwing a lot of the times. They're going to be airing this thing out. And so I definitely got those pieces. Their defense sucks, which means they're going to be down, which means they're going to be throwing to get back into it.
100%.
You got to think strategy. I picked a guy that I think has good upside, but is also a pretty safe pick and getting you 10 a game.
That's a good pick. Leading into flex, I took David Montgomery, which, it's
We'll
a
see
mid
as
tier
the
pick.
season goes
Yeah, we'll
on.
see how the offense gets
Try
ran.
to trade him in the first half of the season
Yeah, and
because Jameer Gibbs is coming, dude.
he is. He's
But
super good.
the thing is, Montgomery didn't look bad last year. So there's still a 50-50
Yeah,
split.
I mean, maybe he'll get traded to like the Bengals or something.
I mean, he's getting all that goal. He's getting most of that goal line work, I should say.
Yeah, so not a bad
He's
pick.
a sick
Safety, you mean, might give you 50, 60 yards a game,
Yeah.
maybe.
We both took flexes of 50-50 split backfields. And I took you took the powerhouse side, and I went with the more elusive, quick side, and I took Jalen Warren. Last year he was really good. I think they were so prepared for Najee Harris. It was kind of that Zeke Tony Pollard thing, and they're still going to have that, all that power, but then get it outside. You look at Jalen Warren's plays, a lot of them are going outside, or their screens, or just finding ways for him to get into open space because he's so fast. So I think that is a pretty safe option for flex. A lot of the times you're not going to have a star-studded, absolute dime
Unless
at
you're in like
flex.
a 10 or 8 man league.
So I think both flexes are pretty safe flexes. And, I said my team's upside, and I've only mentioned like two guys, but my bench kind of gets more into that later on. But a pretty safe start to the season team.
Yeah.
Safe to start. I'm just looking to make it to the playoffs.
Right, and we're not really going to touch on any defense or kickers because it's not that big of a deal.
Mine's going to change week to week.
Yeah, so we can go into our bench here.
Yep.
Like I said, a little short overview of it. So for the first three players, I have Zach Moss, who is a running back for the Bengals now, and he's could see a good share of the behind the quarterback there. So, I think him and David Montgomery can go 2-2. We'll see how Zach Moss performs with Chase Brown backing him up.
Yeah.
But I think it's a decent pick. Lad McConkey, I think he's gonna have a good season with him being the only guy there, and with Justin Herbert being as good as he is, I think he could have a fair share of maybe getting that wide receiver 1 position. And if he does, him and Devontae Smith at wide receiver 2 could, compete for that position as well. Who's your 2?
I have Rome Odunze, high upside. I think this is a guy you're looking for big playoff play. Keenan's old. He's fragiler.
Gained 20 pounds.
So I think by the end of the season, Rome Odunze could be an absolute steal for the draft. I also went with Demario Douglas, the Patriots slot receiver. This dude just kind of eats up everything. I think he's one of the two options that you can field at Patriot players. He's going to be getting a lot of volume.
Especially with Juju getting out now.
Yeah, he's just got to stop getting concussions, and he'll be fine.
But I already mentioned our backup quarterback, which is Jared Goff and Kirk Cousins.
Yep.
So we'll mark that one off the list. The next two I have are kind of, I think Jerome Ford, who I have, could play a big role in the first 4 weeks.
Half of the season, yeah.
5 weeks. We'll see how long it takes for Nick Chubb to get back. But
yeah.
I just want to point out, too, we didn't point this out either. Nick Chubb got taken in like the 4th round.
Yeah, he did. He got taken very early, which is...
And he's going to average 0 points.
Yeah.
For the next 6 weeks.
That was, and like we said, it just kind of, it went receiver heavy, and then running backs just flipped on its
Literally
head.
so bad
Everything
on running
was
backs
going.
that they took Nick Chubb.
Yeah, everything was just flying off the board.
But Jerome Ford on the bench could play a key piece on flex, maybe in the first 4 weeks. Pat Freiermuth, who's coming off an injury. Russell Wilson likes his tight ends. He made Noah Fant who he is. He's made that Dulcich guy over there in the Broncos, their starting tight end. He made him who he is. So I think maybe Pat Fryermuth can find the role of, averaging 10, 15 points a game, 1 week type of deal. Not too big on him, but who cares?
Yeah, so for my next two at tight end, I went Taysom Hill. Saints love Taysom Hill and get him involved in all kinds of plays. So I went with the play potential there. And then I went with Joshua Palmer, the Chargers' current wide receiver one. If you listen to the practices of the Chargers, there's two wide receivers that they love, Palmer, McConkey. Every single time either Allen or Mike Williams went down, Palmer proved he could hang with both of them. And he's going to have to hang in this terrible offense that is. So,
Hey, he's got a good left tackle, though.
and I got him in round 13. So, not a waste of a pick. High upside potential there. And then for my last two, I just recently made a trade to get rid of Singletary and picked up Christian Watson, who, when on the field, is the Packers' number one. And it's not close. I know people are saying Dobbs is coming. When Christian Watson is on the field, he is clearly the alpha. And then I took a very, very, very low guy in Eric Gray for the New York Giants, running back. Watched him in preseason and looked at him and was like, "Yo, this guy can play football. Like, he's a fast, shifty running back." And with Devin Singletary and I forget who's behind him.
Tracy Jr.
Yeah. So I'm like, he might be able to shift up the rankings. So
Yeah,
we'll
that's
see.
That's a good investment.
But it's just a guy you hang on to.
Yeah.
Towards the end goal. But yeah, that's my fantasy team. Who's your last two?
Yeah, mine's the Buffalo Bills bust. He was kind of a hit and miss. I took Gabe Davis. I think I took him really late. He's a wide receiver 2, I think. Maybe wide receiver 1. Not sure. Him and Brian Thomas are thugging it out. But
And Christian Kirk.
yeah, Christian Kirk's probably their wide receiver. Well, he likes the slot though.
Yeah, he likes slot.
So I don't know. It's a pick that if it works out, it works out. If not, then
It's a late round investment.
And then for my last pick, I kind of the same thing you did. Took a little project. The Colts got a Donnie Mitchell, wide receiver 3. He looked really good in preseason. He hit him on a deep ball a couple times. Like Colton said, someone that looked good preseason.
Yep.
I liked him in college. Him and Worthy both. So,
Yep.
Just someone I follow.
Yeah.
Why not? So, that is our fantasy lineups for this year's upcoming season. Let us know who you think's got the better team. We kind of drafted off upside, and we didn't really expect wide receivers and running backs to just keep going back to back
Especially
to back.
the way that way it went. I mean, obviously, usually you see like an alternate of them, but it was just heavy, and they completely shifted to heavy.
Yeah. So next week we might do a little preseason recap. I think next week is the last preseason.
Yeah, last
game.
preseason.
So do a little preseason recap. Not much going on, but then we won't be back until the start of the season for NFL. And that'll be a big episode for us.
Yeah.
Definitely. So we'll definitely be prepared for that. But as always, we appreciate the support. We appreciate all the views and all the comments and the feedback. And we will see you guys next time.
See ya.
See ya.